So I'll do a quick, I perceive it to be quick, a quick video to check in. It is March 13th, and internet is spotty today. It's snowing. It's going to snow all day, and it's going to snow most of the day tomorrow. I have some revelations, and it kind of goes along with my quest. With my tax return, I told myself I could get a pair of shoes. Now, I don't need a pair of shoes in terms of I don't have shoes, but what I was angling for is I wanted a pair of shoes to serve as the platform of making my own clothes. So I wanted a pair of shoes that would lead the direction of the style of clothes that I want to make for myself. And the fabric that I want to use is primarily silk and linen. And just because, well, a number of things, but mostly I do have the skills to sew. And while I've never used a dress form, which you can't see from here, but I have that fit model. It's not a person, but it's a thing that I can hang my clothes on, and it's in my dimensions. And I've not actually ever used that. The other thing is that sometimes hunting fashion trends, the illusion of value seems to be in the chase. Once you get it, you're on to the next thing, okay? What's the next trend? Or, oh, I'm tired of that. I have to say one of the most gratifying things for me was to wear out a favorite pair of casual shoes. I wore them out. When do you wear out clothing and shoes anymore? That was really awesome. To pick something and then wear them until they fall apart. And I was presented the choice by a cobbler who was fixing another pair of my shoes to redo the sole, and I thought, that old man, he knows nothing about trends and fashions. For the money, I'll just go get another pair of something now. And really, I should have taken him up on that, because I threw that pair away and thought I could find something suitable again in the marketplace, and I haven't yet. Not something that fits as nice and doesn't squeak. I found a pair that look similar, but they squeak when I walk. They're not as soft spoken, as it were. I was thinking that if I make my own clothes and invest in my own creation and my own mark as my own value to be sought, to wear it a lot, what that affords me in the gestation of thinking about doing this for me is I believe it attenuates, it attunes my eye to what's worthy of the investment. What do I want to wear? The other thing is the illusion of the chase. When you look at fashion out there, well, it's very beguiling because it's very lovely. I get on the fence because I'm like, where am I going to wear that? No, really, where am I going to wear that? Cocktail dress with who? Okay. Those high heels with who? Glad to see the internet slowing everything here. So I thought I would invest in my own chase with my own imagination and fueling my own graceful follow through with my own desire and direction to lend even hand. What the product you get is equal to the product, the negative space around it, positive and negative. Artistically speaking, that's how you read a value in art, where the positive shape contributes equally as the negative to create beauty. Anyway, that's something I want to do. I'm not on it because I'm still working on my silk honeycomb. That's going to be, I put it on the foot side. It's going to be on the headboard, but I need to be able to get on both sides so I can see with my eye that those honeycombs are spaced right, and then get on the other side to sew them. So it's there. That's going to take a while. Honestly, it may be up there for a year. Taking it down, taking it back to the cutting board that has 1 inch by 1 inch grids, trying to line it up with those grids underneath, using invisible glue to tack the rows of hexagons down, using that green tape that does not stick a lot, but using that to help guide my eye through the silk to the 1 inch grids. So I'm using, I'm measuring with a ruler, but I also have to look critically with my own eye every step of the way. And what I've learned so far with starting to sew the hexagons on at each hex, at each corner, folded corner, is the way that I push the needle in can move and shift the hexagon on the other side. So sometimes I sew them crooked and then I get to undo them. So I'm learning, if one were to study the back of that drape, that wall hanging from the baldacchino, that's Italian for canopy, my canopy bed, what you would see me changing the way I'm stitching because I'm learning as I go. The first hexagon I did, I sewed the corner, created a knot, and I don't think it even was a square knot. I think I just did 3 over because I'm like, oh, that's secure. Trimmed it, did the next corner. So I did 6 separate knots. And then I thought, you should just go through a couple times on this corner, then this corner, then this corner. So now the next ones are linked. And then I was studying, let's see, I've been looking at quilting and embroidery and looming and weaving. And then someone was talking about how she likes to use a surgeon's stitch. And I'm like, what is that? And so you take the thread and you loop it and you loop it again. Then you tie your square knot. So now I've been concerted about using the surgery stitch. So you loop it and loop it again, then pull it taut, and then put a square knot on top of that. And the only refinement I have to add to that, and of course that's linked, I link them and then surgery and then square knot, is to start articulating maybe the stitch to go straight out to the point instead of to the side, to push it across, perhaps to slide the hexagon. At each point, if I go straight out, I might secure the position better I originally desired. What else? Sometimes I'm also fiddling with basting. So now I'm basting. I tried basting some of those hexagons in place because the glues come undone, and or I didn't like the positioning, so I ripped it off so I could reposition it again. So I've been basting to see how that works, but what I find is I still have to be cognizant of how I put the needle in, because that still shifts the hexagon. So I have to be cognizant of my direction of my stitch. What else? I bought silk thread. So originally I used a sulky thread. It's probably polyester. I don't have it here. I'm pretty certain it's polyester, sulky thread. And then I went back and I bought silk thread for the hexagon. So now I'm working with silk on silk. What do I find about silk? The stuff seems to knot and twist. Okay, so one refinement that I have thus far is to work with shorter strands. Maybe it's just me as a beginner, but I'm like, geez, I get this much, so I keep going around and around and around and do this production style by hand as best as I can, but I keep getting the tail end of the thread wraps around and then it knots, and then I'm like, I have to sit there and try and figure it out, and I'm like, you know what? Just work with shorter strands. So we'll see how that goes. I'm working with Pure Silk thread by Gutterman. It's a German company. Revelations. I've been looking for shoes that I promised myself with my tax return I can get me a pair of shoes. And I wanted a pair of shoes that serve as a platform to inspire me to make my own clothes. So they're meant to go with my own clothes. I have an idea of the fabrication. I would prefer linen and silk. I don't mind the idea of working with finer fabrics, finer or natural. From what I can tell, I have some linen. It washes very well, and I like the natural feel of it. It gets soft. It starts off, I think, stiff, but it gets softer with wear, and I like the idea of silk because it's a very, for me, refined fabric, and I live in Maine, vacation land, and I throw frisbee with my dog in the mud. And there's not too much about my lifestyle that's precious, and I like that because it's relatable for every day. At the same time, I've not taught my dog not to jump up, and he did tag a woman in a khaki skirt when we were throwing at the museum, because he's like, hey, everyone wants to play with my frisbee. So we went up to her with muddy paws and went boop. And I'm like, if I wear nice clothing, I'd probably teach my dog not to jump up. So I don't mind stepping into that that value, and then learning its orientation of conduct with myself. So the other thing is that when I look at lovely things to buy online and ask myself where you're going to wear them, if I remove the gesture as the guest, if I remove that, as with the place of address, dad and nad and DNA address, um, sorry, this is getting stuck here. If I remove that, then what I'm finding with my desire and my free time is to make something for me. And silk is rather lovely. So, what else? Candidly, what got me onto silk was I was thinking about caftans, and then Josie Natori. So I bought a few of her caftans on sale, polyester and silk, and I'm like, you know what, this is really nice, and the shape is pretty easy to make. So then I did order some silk, and that's hanging on the bed frame. And I thought I was going to make it for my comforter cover, the down comforter. Minnow chewed. Minnow is my dog, and he commandeered my down comforter when I first got him at 1 year and 3 months. He likes down. He uses his head as a bulldozer to nest in it. And what else? Anyway, he chewed it. And I would wake up in the morning, and I would have to pull the feathers out of his maw and then reach for a needle with any color of thread and apply Yankee ingenuity with cockeyed stitches to sew up the hemorrhage and feathers. So my apartment didn't get so fluffy, and so Minnow didn't get feathers up his nose, because that'll happen sometimes, and then he's like so I bought 2 more sheets, and then I put the feathers back in it, but I put 1/3 of it in the industrial satin. So I made the slip cover for the couch, and then there's a satin down piece that runs the full length of it, and I decided that's Minnow's. And I got this for the bed, 2/3 for the bed. Industrial satin, harder to chew through. I was going to use that charmeuse. What does that mean? Charming woman in French. It's very smooth. I was going to use that originally as a cover for the comforter, which I want to make. You see that? There's that 8 back there. That's a snake eating itself in the figure 8. I wanted to then pick up embroidery on silk. Ambitious project, because I've not worked with silk, but now I am. I'm starting. Shantung silk looks the same on both sides and has little slubs in it, so a variation, and it's also tonal in the sense that it's, depending how the light hits it, it has a different color. So it's I don't know if I could demonstrate it, but the light may not be very good. It actually has 2 different color threads in it, the darker and the lighter. So the way that the light hits it can, you could get a monotone creation from the same color. Different shades of the same family of threads that you're working with. Originally I was going to use charmeuse for the comforter cover and embroidery, a very, very large snake eating itself in the figure 8. However, charmeuse is very, It's going to show every lump and bump. I'm talking about a comforter. Is that unattractive? Or our body? What I'm talking about for me is I felt it would, every lump of feather, I thought it would show. And so I'm actually thinking I might like to, I haven't decided yet, but I don't think I want to use charmeuse for my comforter cover. I think I want to use charmeuse for my clothing. And I might choose linen, or I might choose an industrial polyester satin. I haven't decided yet. The original idea to use silk was so that the comforter was breathable. I have to consider if I'm going to do embroidery, a very large snake in a figure 8 eating itself, I have to consider thread that I can launder, because Mino's going to be using that comforter. So those are my considerations to rethink that a little bit in terms of how it's going to be used. If I were just going to look at it, give me the finest silk and the finest silk thread. If I'm going to use it, you know what? I like, it's going to, sometimes I cut Minno's nails and he's got a little spot of blood. Okay. I want to be able to launder it easily. So I'm thinking on that. Anyway, revelations. Okay, so I've been having a very difficult time with my quest of what pair of shoes I'm going to buy with my tax return. And I keep, in part, I'm a value shopper, but I keep also trying to put myself on the fence and remove that and say, what pair of shoes do you want? Remove the cost. What do you want? That said, I still have to be a value shopper, but I'm trying to in a way, with that mental configuration, I'm trying to change the aperture. If an aperture is falsely imposed, what can I do to mentally reconfigure or configurate a more benevolent aperture? I think creating my own clothes as a value is necessary to see the value in myself, okay? Because it's not out there. What else? It occurred to me, and then I lit upon an advertisement for Naot, N-A-O-T, shoewear, and I'm like, that's a revelation. I should look at Naot, Naot. Anyway, the problem is, you are defining, you are or you're not defining the tin and thine, tine given time. Let's see if I can, if I got that through clearly enough, or if another way I can phrase it. maybe I could just expound on it. There's an assumption that you, as a couple in the marketplace, are virtuous to face. Okay? But the thing is that you're not, the problem is you're not questioning, you're not defining the follow through. You either are or you are not at the same time. You either are defining or are not defining at the same time. The tin in thine hind. Okay? And that's the problem. Now that you're on my network and worth that worked, W-O-R-K, W-O-R-K-T-H-D, who wore the worth, you're on my time, and my time has a direction. And I've already built a case for that. I've defined it. I've defined the difference between a time for competition, forked, no reason, thief end, and a time for completion, even. Okay? Competition, fork, no reason, thief end displaces desire. Okay? With what you're hiring. Okay? And the problem is that your character reference is in the red, and that's what you're hiring to land debt again, okay? Into your stead and bed. And by doing that, you have no right to your fucking savior, okay? Among other valuable and value maker things, all right? So getting back to the canned hunt, if you carry a gun, okay, instead of reason as desire in life even vend, okay, you can consider yourself one of two thieves, okay, that need to cover and covert and covet top, okay, so that you don't have to face the punishment of Dow with wake, all hyphenated, in your ask, -t, and asked your stag to gestate and gestate. Innate, okay? It's a very cruel, it's a very liberally cruel thing to do, and it's spineless, and it's a coward. To put the challenge, okay, put the rise to the challenge in a woman's womb, okay? Because I can assure you, if you want to use your eyeballs, you can see my fucking every step that I put out here on the line. I don't get sustainability for giving time, okay? You've got Tomi Lahren with hordes in the red, okay? And all she has to do is tap and hap. Well, look, pluck a cord with the same horde in red to Dow with wake again, okay? H-A, wake and hake, that's a fish, okay? It's a hook. Put some hyphens in that, okay? So what you get with her horde, you get someone who's standing on stupid to go to war with her own lack of faith as she builds fame and flames the ends. Okay, debt again. I'm a patriot. You're Pat hyphen E hyphen R over r-i-0 hyphen o-t hyphen, the riot. Pat the pate and the air and the tri are the riot, okay? OT, overtime, for no reason, thief end. So you're going fishing. You are What I did to Tommy lately, and I will continue, um, if she needs to, okay, because she's on my time, and so I'm dragging the tear weight with me. Uh, but I can illustrate going fishing also. I can illustrate the canned hunt, okay? And I can make her feel her own consequence, all right? It's not nice. It's not passionate. It's not compassionate. You never gave an honest life, Tomi Lahren, okay? And you're standing on doff stupid and gaining fame from flaming and then mending for no reason thiefant. Okay? It's not about party lines. It's not about immigrants. I have to really think about now, what does this party think or not? Because I've never voted. Okay? And if you think I should vote, I vote for myself. S-O-well-H-D. And I would recommend, as my suggestion and guest, to do the same if you can. Standing your time with a gun is asked stupid, okay? To deliver what? To deliver your blame of red character reference onto someone else. To receive your tone-deaf wealth and your fucking final nail. Okay? You did not nail, honestly. And you're not giving honest choice. I'm affording you that. And I get to watch, if you want to, reverse. S-E-I-D, that is, does that mean since? R. E-I-D is the feast and the oath. E-I is an egg. On the way to that is an example, e.g. ID, identity. Reverse. R-E-V-E, Eve, R, S, E-I-D. And down with your head. A-D. The lice, okay, lice, big problem here. C-E is common era. L, I use that as love for Eve even when in my anatomical language. L means love. L-I, love, I-C-E, a slice, splice, seed, C-E-D-E, that means to give way, C-E-A-D. Your common era, Tomi Lahren, is not seeing AD, okay? You are a lice, and you're serving as a knit, N-I-T, to knit and fashion doffed in your wake, all the altar way, okay? Where you get married, and your tear weight to TB, tuberculosis, or trial balance, or terabyte, take your pick. -T, that's your wake, okay? You stand on stupid to get toffed, rich, and you're going fishing, and you are the knit of the canned hunt, okay? Canned hunt, punt, and cunt, all right? PC, punt and cunt, to make your zero with hyphens count. I don't know. Because you don't want to. And that is not sufficient to appeal to God. God is not here to be stupid for you. So you can pass it on to me too. and then shroud your goddamn efforts that you care about women internationally. What the fuck? fuck? What the Jesus fuck? Seriously? You think you're on the pinhead of Jesus's penis? With the law-t that gave you a L-O hyphen T hyphen? Okay. The problem is, I think how you got yourself here as opposed to there, constantly in the red, and you're like, well, my family laid down their life. I think you made up a third person that was not smart, okay? And you called it God, all right? And it's still not smart in your reference. Okay? I think we're coming full cycle, and stupidity's catching it up with itself. All right? It's eating itself. You with guns, who believe in guns, and the NRA, who believe in, well, we're law abiding, we don't shoot people. Your conversation is something audible, okay? Where do you think dipshit, thiefant, looks at you? How do you think the fool that you folded, hyphenated, how do you think he unfolds on his own time? What voice do you think he hears? Okay? that if he wants to be someone among you two, he knows the land. Let's just get right to it. Bring your gun, blow up some people, because what he understands is that, and I think it's misapplied, he understands that you with emotions of caring don't really care because you supplied the gun to Sir, Sire, revive, okay? Survive, Sire the red, survive, all right? So your law-t is not serving for protection. It's serving to covet and covert and covet, hyphenated, squatting on women universally around the world. So you look at the Tao and you look at what is invested in, okay? Now, Tomi Lahren as a woman is just like, oh, I'm going to be elevated above this and everyone else can eat my hyphenated shit. And then I'm going to wave, I care about you all women. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Dipshit needs to step off. Or bring some honest hair weight. But what I know about dipshit Tomi Lahren is she can only keep spouting toft by standing on doff stupid that she makes. To get law with he ate. LAW with hyphen HE hyphen YE hyphen A hyphen T hyphen. So she could get it back again the same way. Wait. What else? Lice. You're not seeing the common area. That's why you're a lie. And you're serving to knit the warp and the weft, the thread. Warp is the long vert I call thread. Weft is side to side from the selvage edge, which doesn't fray because that's basically selvage is where you would turn the hem. I'm going to say it again so I understand it. I understood it more lucidly when I wasn't in front of the camera, but just like going around in my head. The problem is given time, you're you're choosing to define or not to define. In the competitive marketplace, given time, you're choosing to define or not to define. It's creating zero hyphen. Hyphen I use to earmark visually competition for no reason thief end. You understand this is creating a different pace in the place, okay? Where your hoard, red, where you hap, what luck, fortune, tap and hap, pluck the cord. The core is also red, okay? I would suggest anyone who's fucking singing a song to your Jesus Christ, present the ego gods, okay? Present the goods, okay? Seed, S-E-C-E-A-D, S-E-A-T-H-D, seed the head, okay? There's not an error among any one of Tomi Lahren's followers. What? How many do you have? A gazillion? Jezebel Horde in red, H-O-R-E-E-D. Put some hyphens in that. H is hydrogen. Does not actually exist on Earth, although it's the most abundant element in the universe. It is my contention. It needs to be spoken honestly first, with the thirst. And I do not believe Tomi Lahren represents that hat. She's not actively thinking about that hat. What she's actively thinking about in her weak-ass character is to stir the hyphenated shit, okay? Why? So she could keep pushing hyphenated shit around to get her red character in black, okay? But please understand, her red to go black is in the same cycle, okay? It never lends real character. What else? Na. I first discovered Na. It's a chemical reference, and I'm not going to look it up now because if I change my computer screen, the video might go black. I first discovered it as not, in terms of not. But then I see that Na, does that also mean near? Somehow I got it in my head that Na means not and near. So it's kind of like, it's a duality, like the word execute. It means two things at the same time, where to do something is to define, definitely not doing something else, okay? Some definitions are like that. The best I'm trying to explain this revelation is well, one of the things that I'm gathering is if I change the paradigm, you that are shitting tall lover, all hovert and hovet the place on the Democrats, because I believe you're singling them out as the snowflakes, but you're the snowfake. F hyphen L hyphen A hyphen KE hyphen. KE is kinetic energy. You're the snowflake with the fake love, okay? If I change this paradigm, you fucking Republicans that think the Democrats think that they're special, and you call them a snowflake while you're faking love, you're gonna find that you actually need them, okay, to mend your bed. So you may as well start thinking about that hat before I insert it in your bed, okay? Because you're gonna wake up to me the next morning. And I'm gonna keep finding friends regarding find friends. You know? You're gonna find, if you're without value, and you're thieves, and I can illustrate that, and you only shit to succeed, and super reseed to supper, and super reseed doffed to get toffed, and that's your cycle. That's your cycle awareness. You're gonna find that you're besought. Put some hyphens in that, and then you get to beg, begot, and begat with your fucking gun. And then we should put all of you with your fucking guns somewhere so you can make something of yourself. Okay? Talking about your wealth. Because what you're doing right now is you're stalking. Lay off. If you're not bringing the value of the air, H-E-I-R, right here, lay off. Okay? Because you're not seeking the square and you're sneaking to bed. Okay? Dow with where nest, stage the stag, hyphenated again, and send doff to war on your own lack of faith. Okay? Then misapplied gets in your crosshairs of your fucking conversation all over the place. Okay? That's in hyphens. So you got two people sporting a gun, having a conversation, and people can read and see that. And when they're on their own, who do you think they think of when they want to be someone? Ass-welled, okay? To get to the original nail, all right? That you sailed, all right? SN, that is a reference to tin. It's no name, scene, nominee, tin, and money. S hyphen N hyphen E hyphen K hyphen T. Seeked it to bed, to be AD. Okay, but you're not seeding to AD. You're not even seeing the common era if you do not seed to AD. Okay? And you're not doing that because you do not care to, and you never carried the value. Okay? Quite frankly. Tomi Lahren, you never carried the value. You never wanted to. Okay? It's now obvious. Okay? Your date of birth is to be a bastard. Okay? On your own theology and on your own net worth, that you worked the night to tag the girth and birthed. Okay? Oh, it's so bad what those immigrants are doing. Fuck your bed, okay? That you sent. And that you're vying for everyone else to be missent and misspent. Okay? As your desirable lover all over the place who can't yield a penny, okay, on the penis-sty eye that you eat at and call it want, toth, fact. All right? I have not met online a more indelible jackass yet than Tomi Lahren, so we'll see what, where this goes. I think her indelibleness for her to jack off all over the place comes from, uh, well, it comes from the top down. So your little like top pin tweet up there about being reckless and abusive with your lack of critical thinking to spawn paid Dawn, hyphenated all over the place, and build your estate and gestate on that stupid fact and call it grace, is your supporters that buy into that hat, which is really proof positive that all you have tracking with you is a horde in red, okay? You pluck the cord, thief-end, okay? I suggest you sing for your supper as you sling it, okay? Every line to Jesus, G''S'. Now you're not sussing, you don't represent the vet. The vet is not you, because you don't care about tit, tone, and hone, honestly, yet, where you eat at, okay? SL, salvage loss, source language, SLINEG. I put myself on the line. It represents time. Jump in anytime you want to. Now, what you're doing on your line is you're stirring hyphenated shit, okay? So you could self-glorify yourself for being it, okay? But it's going nowhere, honestly. And you simply don't care. That's how it appears to me, and I'm putting it out there for anyone else to see as well. I'm trying to explain a dynamic here. That has occurred. The hyphenated marketplace has been able to exist without boundaries. The only thing in expansion for competition for no reason, thief end. The only reason, and I use that word lightly, the only reason that it can continue to expand is because it is my belief that competition for no reason, thief end is a theory. It's not a fact. And the only thing that can test that theory is a theory for completion even. And so that's what I've constructed, a parallax. Whether the parallax has followed through or not, the parallax exists. And we can see who eats their seat as their word with their head and who doesn't. We can see who SEE-T-HE who seats the het, so that we can see all over the place about that miscent spent, okay, to get the penis die eat at, okay, hyphenated again. Your ag is not the air. Your law-T has no air, and what it is malfeasantly doing around the world, dowing with war, is speaking for you, EWE, okay? With two dudes that go to war and get paid sustainably to go to war. And so what do you think their test date is when they get in the law-T? They're going to assay, which is to test the metal, they're going to assay what is necessary. Why would they go against their pay they already fucking laid? Tomi Lahren, who fames the flames as she mends her fucking knave. Okay. Knave, right here. Oh, put that right here too, your apse, your roof of your mouth. I would not, if I had a penis, I would not put it in Tomi Lahren's mouth for enjoyment. Okay? If I were a man and I had a penis, I would not put it in Tomi Lahren's mouth. Because her roof can't pass the hat. And that's a fact. You're getting metaphorical HIV. Put some hyphens in that. Oh, and add an E on that as well. With a hyphen. Oh, why don't you put an S in front of it too? Shiv shive. Okay, that's the knife. Shiv, shive, the HIV. Oh, alive. Okay. Co-war-D. Bring your lover if you have one. I already know what your ego got, all right? I already know. It's your trend. It's your direction, all right? It's the ass, as you asked, you sought, and you taught with your egg example, okay? To be brought. All you can lend is malfeasance. Because that's all your SEID, that's all you are. And now we can see that from afar, a far fair of 0, okay, with no hyphens attached. You don't care to have innocence in reflection, and you cannot manufacture that hat. Tooth, the theme, tooth the me at, tooth the mate, tooth the match, catch, in your hand, in your HD, your hand and your head and your high definition. You can't do that. And I know that, okay? So, twink, T-wink on me as much as you malfeasantly want to, because it's just giving me more premise to STE, that's the female saint, ALL-HD, your hoard, as my reward. Whether they jump on my tine and line, TL, total loss, TL, tine and line, whether they do or not, doesn't fucking matter, okay? I prove my premise every step of the way. Your hoard is red, character reference, and does not honestly matter to the assay or the ass stayed. EYEID. 2 ode, OD, outer diameter, overdose, 8. The date. Does not matter. "'Tis not my fault. You're a jackass by choice. And that's all that you stand to lend anyone else.